in the 2019-2020 financial year, Gauteng has seen a 90% increase in reported suicide cases, and most of those aged between 30 and 39. Since April of 2020, more than 1,300 cases were reported to the police. Let's discuss this disturbing trend with Mzamo Mbuli, a clinical psychologist. Mr. Mbuli, good to have you on the Daytime Update today. And really a staggering increase that we're seeing in the number of suicides. What could be behind this phenomenon?
Tammy, we definitely know that 50 to 70% of people who commit suicide have mental illness. Mental illness like depression will raise questions of existence or the existential life crisis of, is my life meaningful without employment? Is my life meaningful when I've downgraded my life financially? Do I have value when people mistreat me? Do I have value when people don't acknowledge me? And lastly, do I have a purpose when I don't live up to my own life expectations? Do I have purpose when I don't live up to other people's expectations of?
Mr. Mbuli, I must say, you've really coined it when you said that these are existential questions, which means that these are perhaps the type of questions that individuals have been asking themselves since the beginning of time. A value, being able to, provide for yourself and provide for your family, have a sense of meaning in the world. What then is different between how the young people specifically are handling those existential questions in comparison to the past, in the sense that these are not new questions?
In the advent of social media, people, for example, would ask these and share these experiences online. I want to commit suicide. And in some cases, people do it online. The method is different, but in terms of suicide, it's the same, because there's no coming back from suicide. And for us as mental health practitioners, we have to deal with the aftermath, what we call the suicide survivors. These are the people that have lost people through suicide. The guilt, the shame, the sense of responsibility that they are left with. I think with the incident that happened in Sandton last year, you have to feel for the poor people who witnessed that suicide.
Certainly, and very often we focus on those who are going through those questions and who are struggling themselves without really thinking about the impact that it has on those who are left behind. Does the high unemployment rate also contribute to perhaps what we're seeing now, a rise in the number of suicides?
I definitely think so, Tan. We don't have the facts here in front of me, but a lot of people come to psychotherapists for a variety of reasons. It's either work or loss of work, or it's interpersonal problems that they experience with their families and significant others. I definitely think so. Unemployment has to play a role. And it's funny that the unemployment rate came a day in after these suicide, these alarming suicides statistics that we heard on Monday.
If somebody's listening to us right now and they're perhaps in a state of depression, they are having suicidal thoughts and are thinking that maybe this is something that they may want to do, what would you say to them?
Sure. I think we have to essentialize life. And what I mean by that, I'll tell you, the cost of existence is high. The cost of making a meaningful contribution to your community is high. The cost of realizing your potential is high. So it's understandable that people find themselves in these situations, but it's not the end. What I do want to say is, if you can go to your nearest clinic, institutions like SADC, call them, engage with a mental health practitioner, reach out to your family if you have that family support. There's other alternatives to life that can make life more meaningful, other perspectives to life when the pain is unbearable, when you feel like you have no value, you're not adding any value to other people's lives, there is help.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mzamo Mbuli, for talking to us today. He is a clinical psychologist, and I think what's really comforting, if one can use that word, is knowing that you are not alone, that the questions that you ask yourselves are the questions that other people are asking themselves, that what you are struggling with may not be identical to what someone else is struggling with, but everybody has a cross to carry, and everybody has some sort of weight on their shoulders. And the fact that it's just a season and that this too shall pass, may that be enough to get you through the wilderness that you may be going through right now. And as Mr. Mbuli said, seek help, speak to somebody, and be able to recognize and see your thoughts and listen to the self-talk and the things that you're saying to yourself and about your situation, and don't walk this journey on your own. I think that more than anything else, knowing that you are not alone.